Everyone knows how I feel. I made it very clear after the debate that I thought he should continue. But that was not what most people wanted. So, but Joe Biden is the kind of person who pulls himself up from rock bottom, and I think he could have stumbled into it. I really do.
That was a video clip from Case Study QB, who watches cable news and clips out the relevant moments so you don't have to watch it. So thank you for that. But last week, Mika Brzezinski admitted that she thinks that Joe Biden could have stumbled his way into a second term had he remained in the 2024 presidential race. Now, you heard a small portion of why she thinks that. Maybe she makes a better point with fuller context involved. So let's take a look.
People responded very badly when he beat Trump during that campaign to Trump bullying him or going after his remaining son. People stood up for Joe Biden because they knew who he was. They know who he is. And I think an aging Joe Biden is very self-aware about that, and so is his team around him. And he's still 10 times more qualified than what we've got. And he's qualified to manage the world stage. I think after that disastrous debate, he did a news conference. Remind me, Lemire, was it the NATO summit?
Yeah, a couple weeks later.
NATO
summit was
at
Washington.
8 at night. And yep, he got names wrong. Yep, he had to correct himself a few times, but his knowledge of world affairs was in depth and clear. People chose to, filters instead of reality, which was his good president who has historic presidency, who was able to beat Donald Trump. End of story.
Based on Joe Scarborough's facial expression as Mika Brzezinski is talking, I am about as convinced as he is in the points that she's making. I don't know, maybe I'm totally misreading his face, but he seems like he's not buying it at all.
Yeah.
I certainly am not buying it at all. Biden's internal polling, his campaign's internal polling showed him losing 400 electoral college votes.
Well, look, his face is probably grimacing because he's like, no, Mika, we're now kissing Trump's ass. Remember, we shifted. So we'll get to Joe in a second. But there's so many great things in that little clip. He could have stumbled into it, she said. Wow, that really is compelling. That maybe your preferred candidate, who is in obvious mental decline, could have accidentally stumbled into the presidency again. What a compelling case. Well, I mean, he did so great at that NATO summit press conference. I mean, he forgot a bunch of names and a lot of other things that had to be corrected later. But no one understands, but he had such a great command of foreign policy. Isn't that table stakes if you're running for president? I mean, I know it isn't lately. Trump barely knows foreign policy, and Biden's foreign policy was, Israel, what should I write in the blank check I'm about to send you for slaughtering Palestinians? Oh, by the way, that'll make me deeply, deeply unpopular, as a poll that we just shared with you guys shows. Only 20% of Americans liked his policy towards Israel. And among the young, it was under 10%. So, wow, what command of foreign policy. Okay, so it just, every part of this is comical. But the most hilarious part was when she said that people chose filters instead of reality. You're the filter, Mika. You're the filter who is detached from reality. His own advisors said 0% chance of winning, 0% but that's reality. But Mika's filter is, oh, so if you add another 1 and another 0, that gets to 100%. So Biden would have won. Biden would have won. No, you're the ludicrous filter.
Yeah, look, Biden suffering from mental decline as he was in the top political post in the country, the most powerful position, certainly in the United States, but most powerful position worldwide. Let's keep it real. She was okay, right? Like, her audience is there. It's not impacting her cushy life negatively in any way, shape, or form. Inflation, what inflation? Inflation, just totally unbothered by that. In fact, I remember after the presidential election, she and Joe Scarborough did a segment where Joe Scarborough was shocked at the price of butter. He's like, oh my God, $8? $8 for a stick of butter? Yeah, Joe, where have you been, homeboy? And it's because they're unbothered, they're untouched by the disastrous policy decisions and some of the economic issues that riddled Biden's term. And so while on one hand, I'm making a point about Joe Scarborough appearing to be confused by Mika's ridiculous points, in the next clip that we're about to watch, you'll see that Joe Scarborough seems to be befuddled about other things as well that he should not be befuddled by. Let's take a look.
I want to go to the debate, the night of the debate. Anybody that says to you they saw that coming is lying.
Okay, here's what I saw coming. Here's what I saw coming.
Did not see that coming.
In the 20 debate, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders were waving their hands constantly, waving their hands at the camera. Let me talk. Let me interview. Let me do this. And all the time, Biden was sat there like a cigar store Indian or something. Why was he standing there doing nothing? He never participated in those debates. Maybe there's something about him and doesn't want to debate. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if we even the three of us could figure this out about Joe Biden and his decision about not wanting to debate. But he didn't debate in June.
Well, this is a question for historians, and I would love to. Everybody thinks there's this grand conspiracy. It was this grand conspiracy to hide him. I did not see that.
What exactly is a cigar store Indian that Chris Matthews just made a reference to? What was that?
Yeah, so he makes such antiquated references. In the old days, they would have this. Anyway, I don't even want to explain it. Let's get to the
okay. Yeah, don't go ahead.
Yeah, so it's so funny that he kind of there's the two statements that he made kind of explain what's wrong here. So first he says, if anyone told you that they saw Biden doing poorly in the debate and being in mental decline before the debate, they're lying. Now that's hilarious, right? Because half the country saw that Joe Biden was in mental decline and they thought he was going to do terrible in the debate, and they were right. Now most of that was right wingers, and you can say they're biased, but it wasn't all right wingers. We thought he was going to do terrible in the debate. We thought he was in mental decline, and we said that about a year before the debate, and we were proven spectacularly correct, unfortunately. Okay, so that's okay. So that's half the interesting stuff. But then he says, so historians will have to figure out why things happened the way that they did regarding Joe Biden. No, sociologists and anthropologists will have to break down why everyone in mainstream media couldn't see the most obvious thing in the world that the entire rest of the country did see. 7 out of 10 Americans said that Joe Biden was not mentally well enough to run before the debate. But when Scarborough says, well, I mean, they'd have to be lying if they said that before the debate. What he's accidentally saying is everyone he knows. Because everyone he knows is in power, is in the establishment, and is in the elites. And among that group, they so believe their groupthink that they all believe that Joe Biden was young and dynamic. So in that group, Scarborough's actually telling the truth. All of those guys, and because now half of them are pretending they knew all along, when in reality they were butchers for Joe Biden and would attack viciously anyone who said the truth. Half of those guys are now pretending that they knew all along, and golly gee, they were trying to help or something, right? But Scarborough's right. No, among the elites and among cable news anchors, none of them knew. You think they're part of some sort of evil plot? They're not. They're just in a bubble, and they have this groupthink. Democratic leadership are geniuses. Don't look behind the curtain. You'll find out that the Wizard of Oz isn't what he says he is. But geniuses. Joe Biden is the greatest candidate. All those people thought that. And that's because they're so detached from reality. They sound like lunatics to the rest of us, but to them, they think they're the great and powerful objective press.
And I mean, they're really giving their whole game away. On one hand, they want to act like they're providing informative news to the American people, informative political analysis to the American people. Part of the reason why, or the main reason why, they lost such a huge portion of their audience following the presidential election is people woke up and realized, no, these folks are lying to us. They are misleading us. And so if you were shocked by the results of this latest presidential election, you were very likely watching MSNBC, where they told you things that maybe you wanted to hear, right? Things that felt good. And I totally get that. I get not wanting to hear bad news if you want the candidate for one particular political party to win. But we have to live in reality. And sometimes we're going to hear news that we don't like, that goes against our political preferences. They just spoon-fed people exactly what they wanted to hear, exactly what they themselves as hosts wanted to hear. But that was not rooted in reality when it came to this presidential election, which is why Donald Trump won the popular vote, swept the swing states, and absolutely crushed Kamala Harris. And he would have crushed Joe Biden even more.
Yeah. So look, they're friends with Joe Biden. They've said it. Yep. They talk to him all the time. They love that Joe Biden watches their show and then forgets about it instantly afterwards. But that's not supposed to color your analysis on television. But they're so brazen about it. I mean, look at what the mental patient Mika Brzezinski said. She said people love the way that he defended and handled his one remaining son. Did they? Because polling shows that they hated the way he handled Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Now you could say that's unfair, and we've defended that there was no connection between Hunter and Joe Biden because we stick with the facts no matter which way they go. But to be so deluded as to think that the American people really like the way Joe Biden handled Hunter, you have to be an extra level of detached from reality. Totally. So look, guys, it's not the fault of the voters or the viewers. They're getting their information from certain media sources. Everybody gets it from some media source, right? That's how you find out facts, information, etc. So if you, to Anna's point, if you were shocked by what happened in this election, by definition, you're listening to or watching or reading the wrong media. The media that you're reading or consuming is lying to you and telling you that Joe Biden had a terrific chance and that Kamala Harris had a chance at the end for sure, right? But that she had it locked up and it was guaranteed, just like Hillary Clinton's was locked up and guaranteed. They've been systematically lying to you for decades and calling it objective.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.